What's up, math scholars and math haters? This is Mr. W. Today we're going to tackle question 13 in the 7th grade math questions that North Carolina released this past school year. The question tells us that square RSTU, so this square is named by the letters that tell us what points it's made up of. So this square RSTU is inside trapezoid RSVU. So if we kind of imagine the lines from R to S to V to U and then back to R, that makes this trapezoid. And we're supposed to find the measure in degrees of angle VSR. So in order to do a question like this very well when you see it on a test, the only thing we're actually going to need to know is how to work with angles, including using some properties of different special types of angles, and setting up algebra problems based on those properties where we have some unknown number. So let's look at angle VSR. When it says angle VSR, it tells us that this is the angle that starts at V, hits S, and then comes over to R. So this angle here made up of these two lines. Now, we hardly even need this bit of information, that the square is inside the trapezoid. All we really need to know is that this is just one line. And so what that tells us is that this angle VSR that we don't know, plus this 45-degree angle, actually equals the number of degrees on one side of just a straight line, which is in fact 180. So that is the big property of angles that I needed to know, that a straight line is made up of 180 degrees total of angles. And I'm going to go ahead and translate that into a math sentence, and I'm going to say that 45 plus some number we don't know equals 180. That's how I'm going to set up this problem. And now I can use a trick with solving equations where I subtract 45 from both sides. 45 minus 45 cancels. I think in 7th grade you should see this. If not, think of it as another way to write fact families, where if you saw me do another problem like this, I would just end up saying that 180 minus 45 equals this question mark. I'm just doing it in a bit of a different way. So now, either way, if I use fact families or the trick with equations where I subtract the number that's being added to my unknown on both sides, so I know that I'm doing the same thing to both sides of the equation, keeping it equal, I know that 180 minus 45 equals this question mark. So let's go ahead and do that subtraction. 18 tens minus 4 tens gives me 14 tens. I'm not going to write my 4 in the tens place there yet, because I also need to figure out what 41s minus 5 ones is, and that gives me 35. So this leaves me with 135 degrees to be in this unknown angle that, when I match it up, or when I put it right next to a 45-degree angle and add these, will give me 180 degrees. And just to prove that this is true, 45 plus 135 should give me 180. So let's go ahead and add those. 5 ones plus 5 ones equals 10 ones, also known as 0 ones and 1 10. 1 10 plus 4 tens plus 3 tens equals 8 tens. And then the 100 I can just rewrite, so that's 180. So that's how we know that this 135 is correct and is actually the answer that we're looking for. So with that, I come down to my grid for my gridded response. I will need to give each digit one box, and I'm not putting my degree sign down because the question, first of all, asks what is the measure in degrees, so it's taking care of the degree part for us, we just need the number. And second, I can see 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, period, negative sign, and fraction. Only those things are allowed in my answer. So now that I know that it's just 135, I need to look under my 1 for my 1 bubble and bubble that in. I look under my 3 for my 3 bubble and bubble that in. I look under my 5 for my 5 bubble and bubble that in. So this is how we solve a problem like this. We use what we know about angles and straight lines to set up an algebra problem. 45 degrees plus something we don't know equals 180. We use methods of equations or fact families to figure out exactly what that is. We write it in our grids, and then we bubble in the corresponding bubbles beneath each digit.